Okay, good day to you folks, and welcome to another AMA with Ethereum Daily. My name is Dale, and I'm more than happy to be the host for this AMA event with PowerPool. Now, a little bit about this AMA before we invite the guests on. I just want to say hi to the people real quick here. You guys have been waiting patiently in the background, so I appreciate you for doing that. So, as a reward for this AMA, as you all know, for Ethereum Daily, we have $100 to give away. $50 will be spent for the 5 best questions that we can find in the second part of the interview. So in the second part, just wait patiently, prepare your questions right now. Remember, there is a 200 character limit in the Binance chat, so just keep it short and concise and unique as well about PowerPool, okay? Don't ask those general questions because we will most likely not pick those. And so include your Telegram username in the questions as well, so we can send you the rewards after. That's going to be $50. The remaining $50, we have prepared a crypto box for you for 200 people, right? The fastest 200 people to claim the box and get $50, okay, in total. So thank you guys so much for tuning in again. Right. So a little bit about our guests and what we're doing here in this AMA. I think this is going to be a very interesting conversation because you guys have been asking me for investment opportunities. What projects should we look at? Because what projects has the potential to do multiple exits in the bull run. I always tell you guys that in the other streams that not financial advice, and today's conversation is also not financial advice. However, I think PowerPool is something that we should look at. And most people have overlooked PowerPool, for the reasons we're going to talk in the AMA. But they've been building in stealth right now. They're an OG in the space. Back in 2020, back when I was, not even in the space. So I did a little bit of research about the team. What they're doing is they're providing Web3 automation. Now, for those solutions or services to the builders. For those who don't know what Web3 automation is, Google is free, and you can find and you can learn much better from me. But in brief, what Web3 automation is it's sort of like a decentralized transaction execution service or solution that enables smart contracts to automate key functions, and basically it is very reliable. It's trust minimized because it's all decentralized. They have nodes running. People have to stake the CVP token in order to get the rights to take the jobs, and then execute the automation tasks and earn the rewards, just like staking, right? And then it's very cost efficient for the builders because now everything is automated. They don't have to hire like a lot of personnel, I would say, to run the smart contracts and all that. And so let's invite our guests here up to the space. We have two major prestigious guests, Mr. Gordon and Vasily. Hello, guys. How are we doing?
Hi.
Hello, just fine.
All right, perfect. So in this AMA, we're going to talk about PowerPool and the Web3 automation. Do you guys want to sort of give a brief introduction of yourselves, your roles within PowerPool, and what PowerPool has been doing in the past few years when you're building in stealth?
Yeah, sure. I'm a chief strategist of PowerPool. That means I don't code anything. um, I've been involved for probably about 18 months, but PowerPool goes back, as you said, to sort of early 2020 when we were pioneering in DeFi automation. And the problems we ran into basically encouraged us to pivot slightly and build first an underlying layer for DeFi that would match the principles and practices of decentralized, autonomous, permissionless, skin in the game, all of these factors. And what we've developed in version 2, because this is actually the second version we've done, we really feel is the sort of state of the art in terms of automating and automation services. Vasily?
Yep. Nice to meet you all, guys. So I'm Vasily. I'm head of research. So I'm responsible for all the research activities, crypto economics, data analytics, and software testing, because we have a lot of stuff to test in PowerPool, and also with the grants provision and integrations with all the projects that want to build on top of PowerPool and make their protocols automated. and build any kind of automation that they need. So yeah, PowerPool is the automation network. It means it's the network of agents that can sign any kind of transactions on chain. It can be like interval jobs, like make a harvest of vault every 24 hours or every 12 hours, or do something periodically, like a cron job. It's the simplest type of a job that PowerPool can offer to to users. And the second type of job is a resolver job. It's a logically conditioned job. So it means that something should be executed based on some on-chain and in the nearest future off-chain conditions. So for example, you want to buy some token on Uniswap, and if the price will reach the target range or target number, the Power Agent nodes will execute that transaction, and you will buy or sell some token. Or for example, if you have some position on lending market and you want to be protected from the liquidation, so what means that if your collateral asset goes down, you need to decrease your debt to avoid the liquidation. So Power Agent can do that, for example. So the resolver type of job is a job with some more complex logical conditions than just time-based intervals. So and like the possibilities to automate are almost endless. So it means that you can even create a job that creates a job, or you can make a job that will fund the gas operations for itself. You can also do everything mentioned above with the account abstraction, and use all this modern tech into your product or just for your own private purposes. So yeah, basically, if you need to automate something on chain, the PowerPool is quite good. I can say even the best solution for that at this moment. So anything you want, you can automate through PowerPool. And yeah, if you need to some assistance with the integration or how to set up a job, you can contact our team. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that introduction. So, folks, this AMA is going to be a bit technical, so bear with us. But I promise you, it's going to be an interesting one. Okay, so right off the bat, you mentioned a lot about agents and then jobs. Do you want to clarify these terminologies? Like, what are you referring to when you say agents and jobs?
Yep.
Like, can you describe how it works? Yeah.
Yep. So a job is something that should be automated. For example, the execution of particular smart contract. For example, call the particular method in the contract based on some condition. For example, every 12 hours, claim the rewards for your LP position. The simplest example. So the job is like some conditions, particular instructions for calling some particular smart contract. This is a job. So, and as I said before, you can automate almost anything. And the agent is a node that executes this transaction. So every agent has access to the RPC of the blockchain, for example, of Ethereum full node, or Gnosis full node, or in the future Arbitrum full node. So the access to the events occurring in the blockchain, and when the conditions are met, the agent executes the transaction. So it basically works this way. So it means that so the agent can be, like in very simplest terms, referred to a wallet. So for example, when you sign some transaction, your MetaMask, your Trust wallet, or any other kind of wallet, you make a transaction signing, right? And you pay for the gas, and you execute the transaction, and you update the state of this kind of a contract, right? If you transfer some ERC20 tokens, you update the state of the ERC20 contract for issuing the token, right? So, and the agent is basically the same thing, but it's fully automated. It's special software that signs transaction according to some conditions. So it means that for like the end user perspective, in very simplest analogy, it's just a wallet that will sign transaction instead of you when the condition will be met. So that's it. So for example, you have you have some Ethereum, you deposited your Ethereum in MakerDAO, you minted some DAI, you deposited this DAI to some farming strategy, you earn some interest rate, right? If Ethereum price grows, it's logical to mint more and more DAI, because your collateral grows, so you can mint more debt, you can earn more interest on top of this debt, right? So, but why you need to make this DAI minting and depositing to the farming strategy yourself? So you can just outsource this to the PowerPool. For example, if Ethereum grows by 10%, mint some additional amount of DAI and deposit to the farming strategy. So it will be fully automated. You don't need to do nothing, and it will work. And the vice versa, if Ethereum starts to decline, the price of Ethereum goes down. You need to take out some amount of DAI from the farming strategy and burn this debt to decrease your debt ratio and to make your position healthy, right? To avoid the liquidation that will occur if your position will collateral ratio will drop below, for example, 150%, right? And of course, why you need to do it yourself? You can also outsource it to Power Agent. So what I described is the simplest strategy that you can launch on top of Power Agent that will be automatically executed. And since if the strategy wouldn't be executed properly and you will be liquidated, you will lose some money, right, as a user. So it's quite bad outcome of using automation. So for this purpose, all the Power Agent nodes, they should stake tokens that are temporarily locked in the node, and they're acting as a some kind of a deposit that protects users from agent's misbehavior. So if agent wouldn't sign a transaction on time, he'll be slashed and he will lose like part of his stake. So this is the main idea. And also to avoid some kind of malicious behavior, agents are selected randomly. It means that nobody knows who will execute the transaction in the future. So you cannot bribe the particular agent, for example, to prevent the liquidation protection and to force some position to be liquidated, for example. So nobody knows who will be the next agent for execution of the transaction, and also every agent has skin in the game to avoid any kind of misbehavior or like some signing failure that could affect the user's funds. Yeah.
Okay,
So
got
the main
it.
idea.
Thank you so much for that explanation. Folks, if you want to learn more about automation and how Powerful works, go ahead and go to their website. Again, the link is in the description of this AMA, or you can follow the links that I just sent you in the chat. Okay, just copy and paste that link in the browser. That should lead you to the website, and this is their Twitter. So go ahead and check them out. Not financial advice, everything that we discuss. Okay, so next question okay, so first of all, you also mentioned very briefly about some of the issues that the normal users or the builders for that matter have in the DeFi space, and you simplify that by giving us an example about lending and borrowing, right? If our position is if Ethereum goes up in price, it means we will be able to borrow some more DAI. So normally a user would have to go back and do it themselves, manually, do this and do that, sign contracts. But with automation, it helps users to not have to do all those things. Just set a sort of like a rule where Ethereum pass this certain amount of price, you will automatically borrow more, for example. And with that, or conversely, the same thing goes with Ethereum when it gets lower. Before we got liquidated, we have to burn our some our position automatically. And so when it comes to that, can you give us some projects that you have been working with? Because it sounds like there are a few projects that they also offer these solutions to the users. They label it like it's their own creation, where we have this tool and we would charge you a certain amount of fee to use our tool, where it's automation.
Yep. Yep, of course, yeah. So first of all, the PowerPool is a like infrastructure layer. It means that it is a network that now is deployed on Gnosis chain and is testing on Ethereum, and in the future it will be launched on different rollups. So the PowerPool is an infrastructure layer. So like we mainly focus on the infrastructure and on the availability of transaction signing, on the number of keepers, etc. And all the use cases, for example, that I mentioned, it's something that third-party protocols built on top of PowerPool, right? So, for example, Ethereum is not building the dApps on Ethereum, right? They build the blockchain that works, perfectly and offers all the tooling and all the opportunities to build something on top of it and work with it. So the PowerPool is the same; it's an infrastructure layer. So at this moment, I can share an example of a project that is building some kind of a lending and borrowing strategy on top of PowerPool. It's a DAOism project. So what they do, they borrow some Curve USD on Curve against the staked Ethereum, in particularly rapid stake Ethereum, and after that they convert this Curve USD to USDC and provide this USDC to the Aura Finance. It's a like convex-like fork built on top of Balancer protocol. So they provide this so they take some debt in Curve USD, convert it to USDC, and provide to the LP pool and earn some rewards on top of it. Convert these rewards to Ethereum and add it as a collateral in a loop. So it means that this is like complicated, automated, lending borrowing strategy. And of course, the liquidation protection is built into this strategy inside. So this is one example of project that builds on top of PowerPool the particular service for the end users. Another example is limit orders. So now we are working with Balancer to provide grant to teams that are building limit orders on top of PowerPool. So if, for example, there is some other projects that building some liquidation protection tools, so it's the like product that face the end users, right? So they can use their own centralized bots, for example, or they can use other automation network, or they can use PowerPool. So yeah, as I said before, the PowerPool is not a competitor in the lending and borrowing products, right? So we have infrastructure that provide a service that allow any developer to build something like this on top of it. It can also include the payments streaming. It can also include the Uniswap v3 position management, anything. So any kind of product that needs some on-chain transaction execution can be built on top of PowerPool, basically.
Okay, interesting. Do you okay? So a lot of things that can be solved with automation, and I think we've seen that being implemented with other with a lot of protocols right now, as you mentioned, the payment and the DeFi activities, almost all of it. Now, do you want to elaborate more on the benefits of using automations to the user side and also the protocol side in terms of
Yeah.
as cost and
Yeah. We don't really have, I mean, the user is not our user. Our user is the developers, or what we call them job owners. So the job owners are the people who say, yeah, I don't want to write this code myself. I don't want to maintain this code myself. I'm in a hurry. I need, time to market counts. And if I just try to make my own centralized bot, I'll get called out because it's a single point of failure. It only has one RPC point. And so rather than do that, I'm going to use Power Agent. That's what we want right now. We want more developers to go through that mental process and realize there's no point reinventing the wheel. It's safer, more decentralized, quicker, and just to use Power Agent. And to sweeten the deal, we have a pretty extensive grant program, because each person who implements one of these is making it even easier for the next person, because it's all open source, and templates permit developers to pick up a previous template. So, for example, we have a big grant right now with Balancer to write limit orders. But once that's done, somebody else could come by, like, I don't know, Thorchain, and say, oh, we want limit orders really badly because we're a sex competitor. So we'll just take what Balancer did, and it'll be even quicker. And it just gets quicker and quicker and quicker, because limit orders, at the end of the day, the core logic is the same. Doesn't matter which protocol is using it. So yeah, so we don't have users directly. We have developers on the one side, and the point of this AMA is to get more developers. And then we have, on the other side, we have our node runners, our keepers. And, unlike, Thorchain or Chainlink, where you need a whole data center to run the client and participate and earn, with us, it's bedroom hardware, home staker. We're very, very light client. Agent work is light work. You just have to be there, be ready, and do what you're told when you're told, and check the other guys are doing the same. That's it. And that means small home stakers can generate passive income with light hardware by joining our network. So those are, if you like, those are the two people we care about. We care about developers who are job owners, and we care about our keepers who are earning passive income running our client. And our DAO, and we are a fair launch DAO. There's no VCs. There's nobody to dump on you ever. So what the benefit of our DAO is, everybody's learning from everybody. So if you're in the DAO as a keeper, you're learning from the other keepers. You're also learning a bit from the developers. If you're in the DAO as a developer or churning out templates, you're learning also from the other developers who are churning out templates. You're actually able to watch, how did they do this? How did they do that? So the big emphasis of our DAO is those two groups learning. And also, at the end of the day, you don't have to be a God tier Solidity developer to do this. We have the God tier Solidity developers, more than one. Okay, so that's all done. You don't have to do that. What you have to do is look at how to fit stuff together. It's like bricklayer. You don't make bricks, you lay bricks. Okay. And so we're looking for developers who are not necessarily the world's most experienced developers, but they want to learn. And same is true on the validator side. You don't have to be owning a data center and have 1,000,001 validators running. You can run just one validator and Power Agent, and that's it. And you're earning. And you're not earning some shitcoin that never pays or never worth anything. You're earning the native token of the chain you're on. So right now, and then when we roll out on mainnet, it's the same. If you're using Rocket Pool or something else, you haven't got that much invested to get the Ethereum validator running, and it's very little to add a Power Agent keeper on top of that. Okay, so really, that's the objective is to build up a DAO full of these kinds of developers and these kinds of keepers, and then just roll it out across every single EVM chain, every single L1, L2, because it's all the same. It's all copy pasta, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep, I just want to elaborate the topic a little bit. So, yeah, so as we said before, the PowerPool is an infrastructure solution, and we are really focusing on the developers and keepers first of all. But anyway, the question arises: okay, what the end user, what the just ordinary DeFi user can do with PowerPool? Is it possible to get any value from it? I mean, like how to use the protocol for the non-developer, right? So. And the templates, this is our the best strategy to get also some regular users on board as well. So it means that, for example, if somebody creates a limit order template, you as an end user can go to PowerPool website, just pick this limit order and set up your own limit order for yourself. So you don't need to use any third-party protocol for that. So we plan to have the library of templates for all routine on-chain actions, like all this lending, borrowing protections, limit orders, payment streaming, DCA, for example, also strategies, some use with reposition management, etc. So it means that you as an end user also can get some benefits from using PowerPool directly, not using some other protocols that are built on top of PowerPool. And also we partnered with some transaction bundler services like Partitura, so that can provide you some additional front-end solution for this. So yeah, so what I want to say is, so in PowerPool, we also care about the end users, and we think that it should be work as one-stop shop. I mean, taking into account all the templates that will be developed soon for covering any kind of routine on-chain, fund management, or just DeFi usage cases. So it means that
yeah, that's true. And we should have mentioned we're because we're running on Gnosis chain, we're working with Safe, and in that case, yeah, it's true. We do have the individual user interfacing through wallets like Safe.
I see. I see. Coming back to the point where you said, anyone can just become validators if they just have a little bit of developer or Solidity sort of knowledge. They don't have to be god tier, and they just need to have like a light setup at home, right? Hardware PC, whatever, and then join the network as validators. Do you want to elaborate more on that? Like, how does it work with the Power Agent V2?
Yeah, well,
specifically,
sure.
yeah.
Okay, well, the first point is developers is one thing and node runners are another. You can be one or you can be the other. If you're a developer, you're not running a node at all. Ideally, I would say the ideal person to be in PowerPool DAO is somebody who does both. And this is quite achievable because our client is already integrated with DAppNode. So if you can run DAppNode, you can do it. And obviously the deeper you get into it, the more you understand that, yeah, I'm going to write automation templates on this hand, and on that hand, I'm going to be running those jobs, not just for myself, but for other people. Some of our grants have gone to projects which are building templates, but are going to run 10, 20 nodes on their own anyway. They were going to run these nodes anyway for their own purposes, and adding a Power Agent node on top is really nothing. The resource requirement is very low, And that means also they can then monitor. So they're using Power Agent automation for their protocol. They can get total transparency on those on that by joining the Power Agent network as a keeper. And they can sometimes do their own jobs and sometimes do other people's jobs and earn extra money.
Yeah. Okay.
So the clarification is just you could be just a developer and not run a node. You can be just a node runner and not do any development. Ideally, you would have your own. I mean, the ideal persons would be people who have their own protocols, write their own templates, run the node, do their own jobs, and earn on other people's jobs.
Okay.
And
So,
we have serious grants available for those kind of people.
Yeah. Talking about these grants right now, because I think that's going to be interesting. You have a grant with Binance, as you mentioned. Can you elaborate on how much the grant is and what criteria are you picking the projects that is eligible for these grants? Yeah.
Yep. So the grants are up to 20K USD worth in CVP tokens. I want to mention that CVP tokens are traded on Binance, of course, and some other exchanges. So they're pretty liquid, and it's not like a shitcoin that you cannot sell and get any proceeds from it. So it's like something tangible, I can say. Yeah. So and we mainly focus on projects that utilize the PowerPool automation. So it means that the ideal project, for example, is the limit order protocols or template builders. You have the 3 position management protocols, some lending borrowing strategies protocols, etc. So yeah, if your project has some on-chain automation under the hood and you need it, so yeah, we can fund your development and help you to integrate with PowerPool, and also provide you some our engineers that can assist you on all these steps with the technical integration to avoid some mistakes and just make it faster.
Thank you so much for that. Yes, that token is available on Binance. That token ticker is CVP. Again, they're OG in the space, so they are very legit. Now, so moving on to another question that I think the builders here would be interested in is that when it comes to the automation and the service providers, there are other options, right, that they can choose to go with. Um, you mentioned briefly earlier, and they are Chainlink, for example, one of the biggest competitors, one of the most prominent face in the service provider, like a one-stop shop, as they're trying to do it. They are spread a lot of these. They're spread through across all of these like services. So where do you sort of put PowerPool against Chainlink in in the next year, for example, or maybe right now? How are you going to, let's say, attract more builders to PowerPool instead of the other protocols like Chainlink?
Well, that Chainlink's been building since 2012, and they're a huge VC-funded operation.
Yeah.
And they are trying to be a one-stop shop. They started off as an Oracle, and they're getting more competition as oracles. But they have about 8 services that they're offering, and but in every case you have to optimize your architecture for one thing. And the challenge for Chainlink is how to optimize an architecture for all the different services they want to offer. And they want to offer a lot of services because their target market is TradFi banks, and TradFi banks want one-stop shops. But that leaves all of the open public chain degen space to people like us who are specialized in just automation and off-chain compute. And we have optimized our architecture, our node runner incentives, everything about our culture even. It's all optimized just for automation and off-chain compute. So if you like, we're a more focused alternative. No one likes a monopoly. If you work in a TradFi bank and you go to your boss and you say, "Oh, we need to automate something here. Here's the quote from Chainlink, whose token is mooning, by the way." What's your boss going to say? Your boss is going to say one thing only, which is, "Show me a second quote." So where are you going to get it? There's us, and there's also another one called Gelato. And Gelato has the same sort of issues, which is that they want to be more than one thing. And they're not, I would not say they're exclusively focused on automation, although they are providing automation right now on Gnosis chain as well. So we're talking to people who are comparing Gelato with PowerPool, with Power Agent on Gnosis head to head. And you can follow, what's happening there. There's no secrets. But the answer to these questions is always the same, which is if someone comes to you and pitches an investment and says they have no competition, don't invest, because it means there's no market. Okay. And yeah, so it's basically our Chainlink, Gelato, and ourselves. I don't see anybody becoming a serious player beyond that, because there are serious network effects and moats associated with this kind of original research-based, network-based services. And that's why we make a big point of saying, we're not a chain, we're not a ledger, we're not, there's a million L1s, there's too many already. There's too many L2s. There's going to be even more L2s. None of these things are in short supply. They're infinite. So the place to look at is, okay, so who's providing the services? And I think the area where Chainlink has a bit of an advantage over us is on private chains. So if you have to get a node running on a private chain, they're going to look at Chainlink and say, okay, that's a proper company. It's not a DAO, not fair launch, tons of VCs we know. Maybe we'll let Chainlink run a node on the private chain to provide some automation services. Our response to that is going to be to try to say to banks, look, we're permissionless. Anybody can run a Power Agent node. So you guys don't trust each other, all you TradFi banks on private chains. You don't trust each other. Your counterparties, you're all trading with each other. So who's going to provide the services? You could have a monopoly with Chainlink, or all of you can run Power Agent nodes and select randomly who does what. Now, I think that will get us in the door on private chains. But I have to be clear, we haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
But I don't believe the private chains will be comfortable with a Chainlink monopoly on private chain automation. And I raised the private chain issue simply because in terms of understanding the crypto space, way too much attention is paid to public chains because that's what you can buy, and that's what you can invest in, and that's what you can build on. But the big value, the really big money, will always be moving, first of all, and initiated on private chains that belong to banks, because that's where the money is. They own the assets. So the place to be, in my opinion, is in the bridge between private chains and public chains. Okay. And Chainlink is definitely there. And it's only now that these messages are starting to be understood and sink in. But we plan, I believe, in future to make this point to private chains as well. Say, look, guys, either it's a Chainlink monopoly or you guys run Power Agent nodes. Tell me which you prefer. And I think this is a hugely powerful aspect of the whole business case, is to understand private chains versus public chains. There's already too many public chains.
I see.
Yep.
That's an interesting conversation, actually. I never thought of it that way. The way that you iterate that, that sounds clearer now. When it comes to the power of Chainlink in the space, and how they managed to acquire so much power in the market, because they are optimized for trying to target the TradFi, and the TradFi they want to be private. They are going to be on private, most of them, and so they're going to choose something that can provide that service, like Chainlink. But okay, so clearly that is also what PowerPool is aiming at in the future. You want to join these companies and to provide infrastructure or services to them, because that's where the big money is. So
Well,
let me ask you this.
I wouldn't say we're targeting it. I would say it's an
Yeah.
option that we have. It's an option that Chainlink
Okay.
has. It's an option that we have. But we will be very successful even if we never run as a node on a private chain, because there's just not very much competition. You have 50 or 60 L1s,
Yeah.
Probably soon a million L2s. And how many automation chains? Maybe how many automation networks? Well, maybe 3.
Yeah. I can't
So
name anyone right now, actually.
do the math. So
Yeah.
do the math, and yeah. But all I'm saying is we're not going to take a back seat to Chainlink just because they're big, rich, powerful, and going to moon, and probably be as a top 5 token. We're not going to take a back seat to them because the one thing that public chains hate is a monopoly.
Yep. Yep. Centralization. So my question is this, right? When you say that Chainlink is well, they are becoming like a one-stop shop for TradFi. They are providing all of these services and they cannot optimize well for automation. What would you say PowerPool has done that's better than the competitors when it comes to automation and decentralization? Yeah.
Yep. So I think I will elaborate on this question. So, yeah, first of all, PowerPool is exclusively focused on automation and like in nearest future off-chain computations that are complementary to automation, because you can compute something off-chain and not spend a lot of gas for making some calculations for your strategies that you need to run on chain. So like according to our assumption, in the future, in like next 3 years, the 40% of transactions will be automated anyway, because it simplifies the user experience a lot. It provides a lot of additional benefits to users and helps to onboard a lot of inexperienced users to use complex protocols, because I strongly doubt, for example, that ordinary user can use Uniswap v3 properly, right, to update the position all the time. It's not possible to do manually at all. So, and yeah, so we think that the decentralized automation network focused exclusively on automation will get some market share. Even 5% market share of this huge market will be quite good and quite big, I can say, for one project. So, and yeah, so targeting the automation, we focused on reliability and on all these cryptoeconomics mechanisms and incentives to make Keeper network work reliably. So first of all, we introduced the random keeper selection, which is, I think, quite important in Trustless space. The second one is this staking and slashing model that also increases the automation fees if the stake is bigger. So it means that the bigger is responsibility for for the keeper. So the bigger stake means that the amount that can be slashed is bigger, right? So keeper could lose more tokens, more value, if he will fail on the transaction execution. So, and our model allows keepers to receive more fees, more execution fees, if their stake is bigger. And of course, if the end user selected, this stake range, and he wants these keepers with big stakes to execute his transaction because it's important for him. So it means that it can be somehow referred to an Uber, right? So the better is the car, the more is the price. But the bigger is the value for the person who uses the taxi. The same is in PowerPool. The bigger is the stake of the keeper, the bigger is his responsibility for transaction execution. But also the bigger is the cost that users should pay to this keeper, to make him work. So we made all of this, and we think that the properly structured automation model is quite like beneficial for users. So even without a big brand, but with proper cryptoeconomic model and all this game theory applied, etc., and with more reliable automation, PowerPool will get share of the market. So yeah, our main advantage here is the cryptoeconomic design of the system and the technology. So we just made trustless automation to be robust and working well. So this was our primary goal. So we don't do for example, Chainlink or like Gelata, for example, in some cases, because, for example, Gelata protects users from some keepers' misbehavior or fails through the whitelisting, right? So it's something like a manual mode or quite centralized approach for that. So, and we try to solve this automation challenge in a decentralized way. So our vision is that on every chain or rollup where PowerPool is deployed, there will be at least 100 keepers. So, and if you have 100 keepers on one chain, it means that the chance of transaction execution failed is quite low, because if some keeper wouldn't send the transaction, then another keeper will flash him and send the transaction instead of him, etc. Right? So there can be two approaches for solving automation. One approach is like to make decentralized automation run by all these cryptoeconomic incentives and proper staking model, and another one is just whitelist keepers and make them responsible just off chain, right? So that, for example, if some keeper will fail a lot, they will charge him with some penalty, or they will throw him out from this whitelisting list. I don't know. So yeah, so PowerPool advantage is that it is decentralized system. It's all transparent. It works according to the code that is publicly available, so you know how it works. Because in traditional world, people want someone to be responsible for something, right? Like in the money in banks, it's a classical example of it. But the Bitcoin and Ethereum, they introduced another model, right? So nobody trusts anyone, but it works. It works well. So and the PowerPool tried to do the same. Yeah, we want, and we already did it. So we developed a system that will provide automation services reliably, and at the same time, we don't need to to make some legal binding agreements with keepers or whitelisting. So we just make the mechanism design, and it works.
Yeah, trustless, I will say, and then liability, safe, decentralizations are the keywords here to describe the way the PowerPool Power Agent works.
Yes.
Moving on to the next question when it comes to the future plans. What is, first of all, the current development stage of PowerPool? As far as I can see, you have 3 chains. Nope. Yeah, I think 3: Ethereum, BNB, and then Genosis. Do you have any plans to also deploy on EVM compatible chains, some layer 2s? Maybe I know that there've been a lot of layer 2s, but some exciting things are happening over there. So there's clearly the market. So yeah.
Yep. First of all, so PowerPool is deployed on Gnosis chain, on Sepolia testnet. It's mainly for developers, just to allow them to test the stuff without spending money for the gas costs, and also on Ethereum in testing mode. So we are not deployed on BNB chain yet. So we are preparing for deployment. I think like in nearest future, in the next year or so. Yeah, our roadmap includes the Arbitrum, Optimism deployment, also BNB chain and Polygon. We also are targeting ZK Sync and possibly the base. So, and also Scroll, but there are some technical issues with Scroll that we need to solve before. So yeah, so talking about the chains, it's Polygon and BNB, our primary focus. And for our rollups, it's Arbitrum, Optimism, and I think base. Also, Linear is in the list, but yeah, so it all depends on the amount of projects, amount of TVL there, because if we deploy in PowerPool, it's deployed for making some automation, right? But if there is not big amount of users and protocols, we doubt that it will get some decent adoption. Also, we have like from non-EVM chains, we have a Neon, which is a EVM chain, but it allows us to deploy on Solana through the Neon. I think maybe the Neon, right? It's
Neon. Neon.
Yes, it's a solution for deployment of EVM code on Solana. So we're also targeting Solana in the next year through the Neon. Yeah. Sorry, I cannot hear you at all.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, I was saying like Solana is super active right now, so it should be a cool integration. Please hurry up with that too, because I love Solana as well. So folks, apply for your grants right now if you are a builder, if you have any projects, right, and you would love to just to try it out to see how PowerPool handles everything. Go ahead and apply for your grants. Link in the chat, right? I sent it multiple times in the form. Right, just go ahead and do that. Thank you guys so much. It's 20,000 in CVP token. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, we just add that we're on grant stack of Gitcoin as well. So we're using Gitcoin to administer our grants, and everything's listed on grant stack. And the mechanics, if you like, are all done through grant stack. So it's it gets a bit lost because it gets mixed in with all the common goods funding and stuff like that. But it's there on grant stack.
Thank you so much. I'll try to put that on the screen as well. If you guys don't see it, but there is a Medium link, also posting it in the chat. Here we go. Right, check it out. Just follow the links, and that should be it. Here we go. So I would say my last question is about your roadmap, development roadmap in 2024. Multiple chains integrated. What else?
The big,
Well, I think, yeah. Go ahead, Vasily.
the big like consumer-facing update will be the template store. So we plan to make like an app store for templates. So it will be like the page where you can access all the templates. So as for the limit orders, DCA strategies, lending and borrowing strategies, etc. So it means that you can use the strategies on your own. I mean, as a user, and like set up the job in one click. So it means that users don't need any kind of solidity knowledge for that. It's just like quite easy solution, and you will be able as a user to automate, I think, almost all DeFi routine actions through PowerPool. So our aim is, to make your life easier. You don't need to do all the actions yourself. You can automate them through PowerPool. So this is, I think, also big milestone. For that, also we plan to optimize the cryptoeconomic model on different chains because there are some technical, stuff with some gas compensations stuff, etc. So also we have plenty of academic research to be published. It's of course more for the academic side of things, not for the end users. Also what is targeting the end users is off-chain computations and off-chain resolvers. So for example, you have a complicated strategy that if you will compute all the, so for example, there is a particular example for that. You have 35 places where you can deposit the capital, and you want to calculate what percentage of your capital you want to automatically allocate there and update your allocation, for example, every like 2 days or every week, for example. And if you want to solve this like mathematical task, you need to solve the matrix 35 per 35 of linear equations. And of course, solving this matrix on chain will be very expensive in terms of gas costs, and it's unnecessary to do that, right? But you can compute everything off chain and prove with zero knowledge proofs that all of this was calculated correctly, and just deploy your capital. So you can decrease your gas costs just to all these transfers to 35 farming opportunities, for example. So this will be also available, and also it will be able to process some off-chain triggers to make some on-chain transactions. So it also will be a huge update for the some kind of logic that users can automate through PowerPool.
I mean, in terms of opportunities for developers, let me go back to what Vasily said about the App Store. I mean, it's called an App Store because, well, everyone knows what an App Store is, but what it really is this collection of automation templates that have been written by other people, or that are even in use by other people, that makes it easy to take them off the shelf. And at the moment, we're grant funding that, but I would like to see some experiments with automation templates that actually pay the developer. Because the way automation works, there's a gas-related fee that gets paid out automatically. Our treasury, the keepers get their native tokens.
Mm-hmm.
The payment streams is all automated. So I personally don't see any reason why a developer can't put a template up in our app store that pays them a little bit. And we'll see how that goes. But again, the idea is to allow the developers to earn, allow the node runners to earn, try to find people that are developers and node runners together and are earning double kind of thing. But again, we haven't tried that, but it's possible.
Yep. Could I provide some example on this topic? So, for example, you're a developer, you designed the limit order template, and 1,000 people using your limit orders every day, for example. And from each execution of these limit orders, you receive some small fee. But this fee can be decent if you will calculate all the fees cumulatively over, for example, 1 month. So this is the main idea. So if you build something that is really useful and people use it frequently, you will get some some percentage of value that was paid for automation of all these jobs. And this is the main idea. Also, I want to mention that we are integrating the MEV protection solutions. So you can use automatic executions, not only because you don't want to do it themselves, but also because, for example, you don't want to be erect on MEV bots, right, that can front run you or do something other things. So you can set up a job for Power Agent, and it will executed with the MIV protection, and will guarantee that your trading or something else wouldn't be wrecked by MIV. It's also, I think, decent value for the end users. And additionally to that, we plan to introduce the PowerPool safety model. It's something like an insurance fund that collects some CVP that will be used for the protocol insurance. And users also will be able to stake some CVP as an analogy to the AVA safety model. I think you probably are familiar with AVA safety model, right? That protects the protocol from some bad debt and losses for users, and we plan to do the same, but to protect users from some misbehavior of keepers. It possibly can be in the future. Of course, we have staking and slashing and all these measures to protect users in the first place. But anyway, the safety model is also planned to to provide even more protection, because if you are building something in decentralized and trustless system, you need to think about that anyway.
Yeah. Another thing that's on the menu is to allow investors to provide keepers with CVP stakes. And again, it's liquid staking. It's the same as the other service networks, like Chainlink.
Yeah, like a delegation. So you can provide a
So
stake. Yeah, you can
yeah,
provide a stake to some PowerPool nodes through special mechanisms that we plan to build, and earn the share of the revenue in Ethereum if it's in Ethereum chain, in XDAI if it is in Gnosis chain, in for example Ethereum it's if it is on Arbitrum, in BNB if it is on BNB. Yeah, so also the stake
yeah,
delegation will be is planned to be built in the next year.
I see.
yeah.
I
So
see.
so what that means is that passive investors who aren't node runners can tap into the fee streams, and also as the value of the jobs goes up, the stake requirement goes up, because job owners are going to insist that there be enough skin in the game by the node runners. So the node runners, again, we're targeted at the small, simple home staker. So he's gonna need more money, and he's going to get that from CVP investors. Pretty much the same idea as Rocket Pool.
I see. However, in the other side, when it comes to staking, that when it comes to like investment opportunities, there are ways that the normal users like you and I, who know nothing about running nodes, for example, know nothing about building smart contracts, for example, we can still make some sort of passive income with the liquid staking model, with the CVP token. Where you can delegate your stake to the node runners, and you earn a piece of the rewards. It's a very similar familiar mechanism that we've seen before with DeFi. So check them out again, PowerPool. Um, we're moving on to the second part now, the community questions, the long-awaited part from the community. A lot of people have been asking about this one. So folks, please go ahead and send your questions and Telegram username like instructed in the Binance chat. Okay, we'll go ahead and pick the best 5. So far, we've seen a few that's quite interesting, but you forgot to send your Telegram username. Please, send it back here to me in my DM in our Telegram channel, or just in the chat right now, so I can send you the rewards. Um, Go ahead and do that, folks. All right. Gordon, Vasily, there are a lot of people asking questions right now in the Binance chat. I don't know if you can see it. If you see any interesting questions
Well,
you want to answer, just
yeah,
copy and paste it in
there's
the private.
there's
Okay.
one question about TCVP, XCVP, and CVP.
Yeah,
So,
could I
as I
You want to
understand
answer
it,
that?
could I
TCVP is just for the test net, and
yeah
XCVP is CVP that's been staked in our DAO treasury. So yeah, I mean TCVP is just test CVP. Anyone can have it. Just go to the faucet, take it, don't buy it. And XCVP means this, because we don't have node staking live right now, we have a lot of people a lot of the OGs staked CVP in the treasury, and that's what XCVP is. XCVP will probably get replaced by liquid staking CVP.
yeah XCVP is deprecated, yeah, for a while after the protocol pivot to the automation network, and the liquid staking will be in the future. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. You bet, but you haven't sent your Telegram username. So if you're still listening or watching, go ahead and send it to me. Okay. Thank you so much. There are a few questions. mm, Okay. That I'm going to send over in the private chat. Again, just pick the ones that you want to answer.
Yeah, I can answer this one. Remember that PowerPool originally was a DeFi protocol launching diversified baskets, and we ran up against the problem that to run a properly diversified basket, you need a lot of automation. So we've basically taken the last 2 years to build that infrastructure layer to provide high levels of automation. And one of the things that's in our roadmap is to show everybody in the world how to run a proper auto-farmed multi-token basket with auto peg arbitrage and all the bells and whistles as a demo, to show everyone how to do this. And the idea is to do that first with baskets of LSTs, probably Ethereum LSTs, although we could do it on any EVM chain. And so the answer to the question why LSTs, first of all, LSTs need diversification. You need multiple LSTs in a basket. One reason is because the rewards are a lottery. So the more LSTs, the more different LSTs you put in a basket, the higher the chances of earning the rewards in the MEV, just like a lottery. If you want to win the lottery, buy all the tickets. So that's the first reason to have a multi-token LST basket. The second is smart contract risk. Smart contract risk is massive in LSTs. You need to spread it out so that if one LST crashes, it's only like 10% of your basket. Then, of course, there's the Ethereum ethos, the huge arguments right now about Lido and their stake is too great. So a basket spreads it out. Everybody gets to be part of a diversified basket. So it's consistent with Ethereum decentralization. And then finally, peg arbitrage. You have so many LSTs and so many different layers. You'll always be, if you have automated arbitrage, you'll always be able to pick up an extra point or 2 or 3 of yield. So there's all kinds of reasons to run an LST, a multi-token LST basket on PowerPool. And anybody who wants to work with us on that is welcome to propose what they want to bring to the party, so to speak. But the answer to the question is you can't really run multi-token baskets actively managed without the PowerPool automation layer underneath it. There are passive baskets, like Index Protocol has a passive basket. But what's the point of a passive basket? They're not auto farming the underlying. They're not arbitraging anything. They're not doing anything. And in fact, they cut their fee to 0. And I said, well, of course you did, because you're not doing anything. So yeah, it's kind of like that simple. You need automation to run auto farm multi-token baskets with peg arbitrage.
Thank you so much for the question, Oldit77. I hope that answers it. We got a few more about our PowerPool, but if you are a enthusiast developer or node runner in the chat, I just want to remind you real quick that they're having PowerPool is having a grant right now that you can apply your projects in $20,000 in CVP token. So check it out. Again, the link is in the chat. Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Ooh. There are quite a few. I've been trying to select the best one.
The next question I see says, what are the other uses of CVP token? Not really sure. I mean, CVP token is staked on our nodes by the keepers so that they have skin in the game, and they stake ever more of it to get higher value transactions because the job owners are going to want to see more skin in the game. Liquid staking will enable investors to help the basically home stakers scale up the size of their stakes. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, you can obviously LP CVP in a few places, although I think in future that's going to be just cow swap probably, because we can automate the whole thing with cow swap. And yeah, that's about it. And then the next question is there token burning? There were in the early days some tokens that were promised. It's fair launch, so there were some tokens promised to people and they didn't deliver, so they didn't get their tokens. And those tokens are sort of isolated. But otherwise, I don't see any reason to burn a CVP token. The problem is node runners are always going to need more. So I don't envisage any need to burn any CVP tokens.
Yeah. You don't really need to burn tokens if the demand is really there and people need it a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
this is
yeah.
all real fee stuff. This is real fee
Yeah.
native token. This is a service network that earns money. And there's no promises, no mirage, no shit tokens, nothing like that. Fair launch, no VCs, no dumping. It's really easy. And in future, you go to the analytics dashboards, you can see the revenue. And if you run a node, you can watch how much you're earning, how much everyone else is earning. It's very, very transparent.
Okay. Thank you so much for that clarification. Oh boy. Some questions in here I think you answered already. So that's why I've been taking my sweet time to select the questions.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the next one I see is about future products. We've already talked about more than enough.
Yeah.
I mean, the template, the app store of templates that maybe earn money for developers. The off-chain compute is a whole area that is just now getting started. AI and how AI interfaces with automation. Obviously, AI is going to love automation because they can't do anything manually. Yeah, I mean, I guess the only really thing I would highlight is that we really do want to show the world how to do a multi-token ETH LST basket. But again, we need more people. Basically, the problem isn't that we need more products. The problem is we need a bigger DAO. Our DAO is tiny compared to DAOs that are, like 10 times our size. So really, it's a question of people coming up and saying, look, I want to do this. I want to do that. Give me a grant for this. And my template will earn this and my node will earn that.
I see. I think I also
There's really no shortage of ideas. The shortage is contributors to the DAO
people.
and people.
Yeah. I think I saw one question, but I think got lost. But he was asking about, how your DAO operates. Do you want to maybe touch on that real quick?
Well, you can just go to the forum and look. We've passed about 60 proposals on vote, by the way, going all the way back to when we were degens building some of the first diversified baskets. It's a lot of the decision making, actually, because it's all open source code and permissionless. A lot of the decision making is, you don't even see it in the forum. What you see in the forum is, sort of higher order discussions about how to get, each grant is voted on. So if you go there, you'll see we have about 2 or 3 grants that have been approved. So you can go to the forum, look at it, see what they said, see what we said, see what they said, see what the vote was. It's all very transparent. But the main thing for us right now on the governance side is we need, as we roll out to each chain, there's a role for a chain ambassador, somebody who really knows that chain and knows the people on that chain. So there's this, part of the forum is a discussion about, okay, what are we going to do about chain ambassadors? But the rest of it is just voting grant by grant on people proposing development. And then, of course, we've been handing out quite a few rewards to our early node runners in return for all their feedback they've been giving. And again, you can see that all being done on the forum. So yeah, it has all the advantages of a DAO. I think a DAO suits this. I wouldn't say a DAO suits everything, but I think a DAO suits this because we're trying to build a global community across lots of chains with both developers and node runners interacting and everybody earning directly. I mean, there is a role for speculators in the sense that you will be able someday to buy LST, CVP, and delegate it. But this is not a DAO that's about moon boys and it's just not.
All right. Thank you so much for the question. And I think with that, we have answered about 5 already. So thank you guys so much for sending all of your great questions to the guests here in today's AMA. It's also about 1 hour session at the moment. So before we sign out, do you have any closing remarks you'd like to say to the community, Gordon, Vasily?
No, they're just what I've always been saying, which is if you want to earn money, join, develop, join, node runner, join. And someday, if you want to delegate capital, buy the LST and delegate. And otherwise, we have, every possible social channel open, forum open, fair launch, no VCs, nobody's going to dump on you. And thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Gordon. And I guess Vasily is busy or he's out of space, I guess.
No, no,
But
no.
okay, he's here. All right.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm here. I just want to add that I think that so if you're a developer, you can, like, the simplest thing that you can make, you can just develop some small template that can possibly be quite significant in the ecosystem and also bring you some fees in the future. So if you're running nodes, you can run nodes. And also what I want to add that wasn't mentioned yet. So we are developing the PowerPool ambassador program. So we plan to get more ambassadors all over the world. I mean, the influencers or just the active guys who want to spread the word and help us with the information distribution and the brand awareness, and maybe even some local meetups and events. And if you if you're active community member in some country or in some community and you want to help PowerPool join the ambassador program, get some token rewards, and just be active there, so it's also a good opportunity for you.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. The ambassador program. All right, folks. There are a lot of things running right now in the PowerPool community. Right, they've been building itself. That's why we don't hear about them lately. But right now they're coming out of their winter sleep, I would say, after building a wonderful product, the Power Agent V2, and more to come in 2024. Again, I think that we are kind of overlooking these infrastructure projects, the service networks. We only look at Chainlink and the top projects and expect that they will do multiple actions in the future. But again, with the projects of this size of this team, but with only a small size in terms of market cap, I think there are a lot of investment opportunities in CVP token. Now, again, not financial advice or anything. If you want to, but if you don't want to invest in tokens because you don't like it, it's risky. But you can look at delegating your funds or staking and making passive income from that. If you are a node runner, if you're a builder, they have a grant, the link in the chat to apply for, again, 20K in CVP token. If you are a community leader, you have they have an ambassador program, more details in their community. So thank you so much, guys, for listening. And it has been a wonderful AMA. Thank you so much, Gordon and Vasily, for your time. And I'll see you in the future AMAs. Okay, take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.